When you think of the pizza oven, what does an oven need to have to do its job? Elon Musk refers to them as first principles, but what are really the first principles of a pizza oven?
Well, the brick pizza oven came out of the concept that instead of cooking the pizza like you would do in a regular oven, a deck oven, where the heat comes from the bottom of the oven, heats up whatever surface you're cooking, being a stone or a pan or a screen or whatever, and then residual air temperature cooks the top of the pizza or the bread or whatever. The brick pizza oven concept was a little bit different. In other words, the source of the heat, until I invented the infrared,
Right.
the source of the original pizza oven, the source of the heat only comes from the top, and you cook the pizza from the top down. The reason for that is because the traditional Italian Neapolitan pizza only stayed in the oven maybe 2 minutes. So therefore, you need almost like a broiling effect. At that time, and in fact, if you see some of the Napolitan pizza, original Napolitan pizza, you cannot slice and pick it up. You really have to eat it with a knife and the fork, because the crust is not the protagonist or the main character in the pizza.
Right.
It's the combination of the San Marzano tomato, the buffalo mozzarella, the fior di latte, the cow milk mozzarella, and the fresh basil and whatever other things you want to put on top of it. So the brick pizza oven lends itself to this. Now then, since people in the commercial end of that business do a high volume production, then you needed the heat also from the bottom. But in a home, once you are able to heat up the chamber or the oven dome and the floor where you cook the pizza, which you really should have good stones. The one that I really highly recommended, that's also approved by the Food and Drug Administration, is called cordiorite, also known as a pizza stone that you can see in many gourmet shops. Basically, there is no mystery to it. You know, you need at least to do a decent Italian-style pizza or a hybrid New York, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Texas pizza. You need at least the temperature above 600 degrees.
Now,
at the floor level.
At the floor level. If you're doing a Neapolitan style pizza, what do you say?
Then you have to go a little bit higher, maybe 750, 800 degree range, depending also who is the pizza man, because to do a pizza at that level, you have to have a special type of dough and a special type of hydration, in other words, the amount of water that is in the dough. I mean, you gotta know what you're doing, because the pizza doesn't have a good solid foundation. It's kind of malleable. You can adjust it and move it, slide it in the oven, and you really want to cook it real fast, because at 900 degrees, 900 degrees, more than a minute and a half, I mean, you burn everything.
Right. Right.
And that's a type of cooking with the brick pizza oven that you cannot do with any other oven, because I'm sure you do your oven in your house, the maximum temperature is 550.
Yeah.
It'd be 600.
500.
500, yeah. And there is not enough power to do that type of pizza. And if you cook at a lower temperature and you try to do a Napolitan pizza in a regular oven, not a brick pizza oven, it would take you so long. The tomato sauce would hydrate, the cheese would burn. I mean, it would be a complete disaster.
Yeah. I think one thing that people maybe don't think about enough is that the geometry of the oven is not just the dome. Sometimes you have a higher dome, is more, and then sometimes you have the so-called Neapolitan dome, which is sort of a flattened version of that. But they also ignore the relationship between the opening, the size of the opening, and how long that canal is to the actual inside of the oven.
Well, that goes into the efficiency of an oven. In other words, you can cook a pizza. I can speak for myself, you know. That's what I did for a living, and that's what I do for a living. I can cook a Napolitan pizza in my household oven. I have a floor stone in my oven, And I had to use tricks to do that, you know, like your oven at home is 550 degrees. However, I had to preheat my oven to 550 degrees until the stone gets nice and hot. I have a 1-inch pizza stone.
Yeah.
And then when I cook the pizza in the oven, I don't cook with the oven, but I broil it.
Right.
So therefore, the dough will cook because it's 550 degrees, it will not burn. It will withstand about 3 minutes. But then give the chance to the broiler to broil the sauce and the cheese on top. So that's the cheating way to do it. Right. In a pizza oven, you have to have the same concept. You gotta get the oven hot. However, we at Renato Ovens were very conscious that when you heat up an oven, you know, once you use 8 or 10 pieces of wood, that should be enough to feed your family. In the restaurant business, you know, we would love to use no more than 1 quart, 1.5 quarts a month. Right. Some ovens that they're now really well built, you know, you mentioned very rightly so the height of the dome. See, the Renato oven has a fixed height of 11.5 inches. Okay. And the mouth of the door and the height of the door and the size of the arch was different in every oven. There is a very strong relationship. In other words, it's just like driving a car in the winter with the windows down. Yeah. I mean, the heater will work, but it will stay on all the time because there is cold air coming in. And some oven where the dome is too big, the mouth is too wide, and I can mention one of my ex-competitors that I thought they did a terrible job, Woodstone. I mean, they had these openings, they would take a whole forest to keep the oven hot. I mean, I had some customer that were telling me they were spending over $25,000 a year to keep the oven hot. Right. I mean, would the pizza come out okay? Yes, but because of the efficiency, you know, the relationship between the height of the oven, the circumference, and the size of the mouth of the oven, and also the size of the floor of the oven is extremely important to retain the heat. Right. And that went into efficiency, and that's what I, early on with the Renato oven, we were mostly concerned because we wanted to be effective in the commercial sense, because at the time nobody had a wood burning oven in their house except me. And then later on also for the customer, because we didn't want the customer to wait 4 or 5 hours to get an oven hot. Right. And they could do it with the Renato oven, even if it was just wood alone, you know, 1.5 hours, maybe 2 hour tops. Yeah.
So let's talk about the size. You said Renato Ovens made a 75 centimeter internal oven. How many pizzas can you cook on that?
But by the time you put in the wood pile, you start the fire in the center, then when you went to a pin coal, you shove it all the way to the back. You put in, and again, I'm going to tell you why, only 1 pizza at a time, even for me that do this for a living, is because when you have like a 25-inch cooking surface, where 8 to 10 inches is used by the wood pile or the pin coals or the wood burning, when you slide in the pizza, the edge of the pizza that is close to the fire is in a very close proximity, and no matter what kind of dough you put in there, after 10 or 15 seconds, I mean, that side is going to cook a lot quicker than the side facing the door. So basically, even if you're a very, very good, very fast pizza man, you slide the pizza oven in a small oven, and you actually have to stay there, and after 10 seconds, 15 seconds, you got to start spinning around, because the fire in such a proximity of the dough and the sauce will burn everything. Yeah. It's not the type of pizza you put in the oven and you wait 2 minutes and it's done, because half of it will burn and half will be raw. Yeah.
As usual, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It means a lot to me if you can subscribe to this video. Any comments you have, I'd love to read them. You'll look down in the comments of my other videos and see that I really do reply to pretty much everything everybody says, and I try to give good advice. Another good reason to visit the comments section is just to read what other people are saying. There's quite a good conversation going down there about making pizza, pizza ovens, and pizza oven decisions. So whatever you do, please subscribe, hit that like button, and I look forward to seeing you on my other videos.